So honestly, Cornet can go fuck himself for saying that we're late because you know what? We're not doing this for your entertainment. We're doing this to keep Mike honest. And if you feel right now that you have been slighted in the least, fuck yourself. No, seriously. I'm sorry, dude. We were just having a little bit of a chat in the background that we weren't even aware of the fact that we were already running behind.
It's also too. This is keeping us both honest. And you're right. We were late.
You were absolutely fucking right, Cornet. So I'm just bullshitting here. We were actually a little bit late. Mike, how you doing, buddy?
I'm well, man. How are you?
I'm pretty good, actually. I'm pretty good. So yeah, I'm just chilling and relaxing all cool. Shooting some people outside on the school. Some couple of guys that were up to no good. They started making trouble in the neighborhood. But
how do I end the broadcast?
I'm okay, man. So here we are again. It's we got people already chiming in. We got Cornet, we got Joe, we got Lars. Everybody's chiming in and watching and saying hi. We got a dog here. We got Bruce Wayne in the house, people. We got the Batman.
Oh, Bruce.
Old Bruce. There he is. Probably a little bit knackered because...
We got back from a walk.
How long did you go for a walk?
Only like 30 minutes, but it's quite cold out. So I basically went for as long as my knuckles, because I forgot to wear gloves. I was walking around with just my hand. And once my knuckles started to hurt, I just came back. We did about 30 minutes, so he was running around like a dummy. Had a good time.
How about, because usually we try to get the negative out of the way. Mm-hmm. I told you somebody was going to comment on this. Mm-hmm. You want to explain?
I shave sometimes. I don't have a beard out of a fashion thing. I have a beard because I'm lazy. It's laziness. So sometimes, especially when I don't go to barbershops anymore. I just clip my head now.
Shave it. Yeah,
one, it's cheaper. Two, it's cheaper. And three, COVID.
I'm just going to quickly show people something because you probably can't really tell because of the fuzzy quality of the camera. But I haven't shaved in a week, so I get stubble everywhere.
If I don't shave for a week, I look like your rest of your face, Thomas.
Yeah, so there you go. So you have some manly beard growth, but I do understand the lazy idea. Gina chiming in saying, hi, how you doing, honey? Thanks for joining. Usually, we want to get the negative out of the way first. And let's talk about the negative because you've been sharing, which isn't a negative per se, but you've been sharing a lot of your exercising with me last week. And there is a big negative aspect to your exercising at the moment, which is...
I do all my exercising in my garage, and my garage is not heated. And it's actually generally colder in my garage than it is even outside.
Now, we have European viewers here. Would you please tell us both in Fahrenheit and in the Celsius, because you Googled it, the temperatures that you've been exercising at for the last 7 fucking days?
Let me find out. I mean, look at our chats, because I don't remember. Let's see here. So I did, I don't know. What's, God damn it. I the other day I did, 1 degree Fahrenheit, which I believe is like, I feel like I usually share. It's
sometimes I'm behind the laptop. I can quickly do this. 1 Fahrenheit to Celsius. 1 Fahrenheit to Celsius is. Hello, Google. Okay, people. This is not the lowest that he exercised at, I believe. 1 Fahrenheit is minus 17 degrees Celsius, people. That is, so I don't know if you know this about Celsius, but 0 Celsius is freezing.
Yep. And
minus
Fahrenheit's 31. 31 is freezing.
So Mike has been exercising at those kind of temperatures, ladies and gentlemen. Minus 17 Celsius, 1 Fahrenheit. There's one thing you forgot to mention about how you exercise.
Oh, shirtless and barefoot.
In shorts, no socks, no shoes, minus 17 degrees, 1 Fahrenheit. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy is a monster in all the best positive ways. Why am I getting that out of the way as a negative? Because that's the only negative. This guy has been really pushing himself the last week, and the result was...
I'm combination of my diet and the combination of the way I've been eating. I hate to call it a diet.
We're gonna
The
get
way
to
I've been
the
eating
diet part as well, of course.
and
Yeah,
the working out. I'm down 5 pounds from last week.
5 pounds. That's about 2.5 kilos, ladies and gentlemen, in 1 week. That's fucking legit. That dude he's on fire, people. He's on fire.
I'm trying.
Exactly.
I'm trying.
Like Cornet's saying, that is some dedication. A week or 2 weeks ago, we talked about motivation, which you have. And then from motivation, you have to get to volition. There you go. Nice result. Go fucking hell. So
Trying
your
my best here.
volition is in check. You are, but that's the thing. You're no longer trying. You're doing.
Well, I mean, no, it's. I mean, yes, but we're trying it because it is. It's not easy. Every single day is hard.
Yes,
Like
it is.
so it's not like even I messaged you last night when I was on the bike, and I was saying this is really getting painful. It's hurting. Like it's
Mm.
not my toes. I know it's cold, but like I was really feeling it in my knees and everything. And I'm using my bike, so it's not a lot of impact. It's just, but I can feel like the strain. I can feel it in my hips, and I was like, all right, I need to kind of calm my shit down because it's a little too much.
Mm.
But I'm eating a lot better, which is the best thing because honestly, like you know what they say, you can't outrun a bad diet or outbike a bad diet. And Bruce is snoring.
I can hear. It's adorable. It's fucking adorable.
um, but I'm doing better with a lot of things. Uh, but there's gonna be ups and downs, and there's gonna be days that I fail. So it's all trying. It's all trying. I have to try because it does not come naturally to me. I don't have that ability to just shut everything off. Like just looking at snack foods, we have a lot of them in the house because we're snackers here. It's like just try to don't look at them. Try to find
Mm-hmm.
the protein. It's tough for me,
It is.
but I'm
It is
doing my
pretty
best.
tough. It is pretty tough, and it's like one of the reasons that we've talked about this before. And this is not me tooting my own horn or anything, but one of the reasons that you asked, like, Thomas, can you do this with me, is because when it comes to the weight loss, this is something that I've done in the past, and it's the beginning is the worst. The beginning is the worst, but after a while, you get used to it. You get used to your new rhythm. You get used to your new. There's a lot of people chiming in, by the way. There's Douglas saying hi, Joe saying hi to Douglas. There's Vanessa chiming in. Hey, Vanessa. Thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody, by the way. Please keep chiming in. Your support, comments, or suggestions, everybody keep chiming in. Keep talking, because that's what we're here about. We're here to keep Mike honest. And this isn't a negative, by the way, Mike, but even if you're doing great, we're still trying to keep you honest. It doesn't suddenly mean that now it's done. You lost 2.5 pounds and you're doing great. It doesn't mean that the journey's over. It just means you're on the right track, and we need to keep you on there.
2.5 kilos.
2.5 kilos, 5 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And another beer joke. Hair is not that. It works for me to live the fitness live during the weeks, and the weekends I can have some. Yeah. That's the thing. That's what I usually do. But that's why you asked me, because keeping you honest, it's the first few weeks, the first month or two is pretty fucking hard. But then what you just said, you're snackers. Even after so many years, there will always be moments where you're like, it's a Wednesday, you wanna do your thing during the week, like live healthy, and you're like, I have a cheat day in the weekend, right? And there's always going to be the moment where you're in the supermarket on the Wednesday, you just got home from work, you want to grab something, and you're like, there's the healthy option. It's going to take me a little bit of time. It's going to take a little bit of effort. I need to cook food. I can get vegetables, lean meat, or another protein, like maybe some garbanzo beans and shit like that. And then there is that frozen pizza that you only have to throw in the fucking oven, wait half an hour, and you're eating, right?
Yeah, but even worse than that is frozen pizza here is about. It depends on what brand you do, between like $6 and $9 maybe for the general store brands
Yeah.
for a pizza. Or I can order, and it takes 19 minutes or so to cook. I can order from Domino's. Domino's is a pizza chain. It's literally like almost across the street from me. I can order, I can order 2 large pizzas with 3 toppings for $16 total, and I can have it here in 15 minutes.
There you go. And that's the thing. And that's the fight. That's the fight that you always have to do. It never freaking ends. I mean, I'm years beyond that moment, and I still feel guilty about some things.
Yep.
So, keeping you honest, 2.5 kilograms, 5 pounds. People are like, "Wow, that's well done, man," and it is well done. You're on the fight, right fucking track. So we talked a little bit about your exercising. You've been keeping it up. You actually hit the 8 mile mark on your bike.
Yeah, while I'm using my bike, I set up. I don't set up. The program's already set up. I do a particular program on my bike, which is called weight loss, which is a little bit nonsense. The idea is that you're supposed to keep your heart rate at a certain point, because like at some point you're benefiting fat burn, and at some point you're benefiting cardio more, depending. And I just go balls to the walls because I don't know, because that's what I do. And
I want to get to that in a little bit, but yeah.
But if I go to 7.15 miles with this program in my 30 minutes, I feel pretty good about myself. I feel like that's pretty good. But I've hit this stuff kind of makes me gassy a little bit.
It's cool to go for it.
But I hit this week on 3 different attempts. 7.95, 7.89, and then last night 8.03. So I did that in my half hour with that program. Now, if I have it on like low and I just go nuts, I can do that. But with this particular program, where it's the same every time I do it, I can sort of see where I am. And it's depending on like how I feel, depending on how cold it is, depending on what I ate that day. Those things are going to fluctuate as you go.
It's all going to add up. Just by the way, for the European viewers, 8 miles comes in at somewhere between 12 and 13 kilometers, give or take. So it's like times 1.6. That's what you do. So it's like just over 12 kilometers, which is very, very well done. Vanessa, by the way, says make your own pizza dough, add your own toppings. Well, yeah, of course, that's a very healthy option, but it's still, it's still carbs. There's more carbs involved, and you can make like there's like the cauliflower crust thing that you can do.
Yep,
cauliflower.
For example, that is a lot of effort. That's a lot of effort.
That's a lot more effort, and that's what we're talking about. You can make pizzas that are less carbs, not a lot of fats. And if you do add fats by adding some nuts, or maybe adding a little bit of like avocado at the end, not after you bake it, like add some avocado over, get some healthy fats going, but it's still more effort. And that's the thing. We're talking about effort versus the quick fix. That's the thing,
right. And like really what I've done most of the week is I've had a lot of home cooked food, although not always like kind of the best stuff. Like my wife made the best stuff. This stuff tastes great. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, I know. I get it.
What she made earlier this week, she made something that she jokingly calls. My wife's name is Chan. So, oh well, that's actually her name. That's what I call her because it's easier. But she made something she was jokingly calling chambonara, which is her version sort of a carbonara, which is a little bit. It's a lot different, but it is pasta and egg and stuff like that, and it was really, really good. And she gave me a portion that was just absolutely monstrous, and I could not say no. I'll show you what it kind of looked like if I can find the picture real quick.
Go look for the picture. In the meantime, I can go through some of the comments.
But it was like,
oh, there it is. Oh my god! Wait, I need to show the layout, you man, because that is just like, will you look at that? That is disgustingly good.
Yeah, she didn't do Parmesan Reggiano. She did
Parmigiano.
No, she did Pecorino Romano and Pepper Jack. So,
but Pepperino is actually more classic than Parmigiano. Classic, yeah.
But carbonara typically uses both.
Yeah, true.
We didn't do the Parmesan Reggiano. She did instead, because basically we pulled it out. It was kind of in bad way, so we threw it away. Instead, she just shredded up some good classic American pepper jack cheese, which was fucking great.
Sounds
it
fucking
spicier.
delicious, dude. I can't wait. By the way, if shit happens and I'm coming over this summer, I can't wait to taste her cooking. I really want
We'll
to
see
taste
how that
Jen's
works.
cooking. Oh, I can't wait. So Cornet's commenting, one of the things for me personally that makes it harder to choose the healthy option is the cost. Unhealthy food really is way too cheap. This is
Facts.
fucking true.
Facts.
They should make the healthy foods cheaper. Eating healthy costs more money than eating unhealthy food. Well, there's a yes and a no to this, but I'll get to that in a little bit. Carb special, it depends. You can make easy meals really cheap, but the snacks are the real problem. This is true. I'm going to comment on this in a little bit as well. That's true, Cornet, but buy some fresh vegetables and some chicken that isn't full with water. Now, some things that we need to quickly point out. Fresh vegetables aren't always fresh. 7 out of 10 produce that you can find in your supermarket has been laying there for like 4 or 5 days. So here's the thing. If you want a fresh meal or a healthy meal, let's put a healthy meal. You can buy frozen green beans that are usually fresher at the end than they are when you buy them fresh in the supermarket. Add some dried, what are they called? Dried, but then soaked chickpeas. You have to soak them the day before. You have to give them some time. And then just sort of boil them for like 30 minutes. Take them out and then add, while you're boiling those, make a quick stir fry with the frozen green beans, some onion, some garlic, some spices, some tomato puree. Add a little bit of stock to it, like a little bit of chicken stock or vegetable stock if you want to keep it 100% vegetarian. And while you're cooking those chickpeas that have been soaked for like 12 hours, add a little bit of those for like the last 5 minutes. Make sure that they are actually cooked. You have a very cheap and a very healthy dinner. Serve it over a little portion of rice or couscous. And you're fucking done. And that's it.
Yeah.
You have a very healthy and very cheap meal. But here's the thing again. It takes a little bit of effort and planning.
Yeah, because the thing is, some people, if you think like, I'll be making assumptions about Europeans, and it's funny to say Europeans as if it's not, as if it's just one place. But in the United States, most households have both parents working, and they both work over 40 hours, and their kids are sort of latchkey kids, and they get home and just quickly making something. It's quickly putting something together. It's quickly bringing home like a McDonald's, or it's something they've had in the crock pot. It's very
Same here.
few people that I know have time to really prepare a meal unless they're stay-at-home spouse, whether they're male or female.
It's same here. We have the same problem here. Healthy eating. Here's the thing. People focus a lot on exercising, which is very important. Physical exercise. If you have a job that basically requires you to sit in the office chair all day and not be physically active, the biggest thing that you can change is, of course, your exercising routine. You can be eating as healthy as you want, but if your body is not getting any kind of movement throughout the day, that's what you want to fix. But now, if you're eating health, if you have a very I know some people that work in construction, for example. They work in construction. Now, that is one of the most physically active jobs out there.
Very demanding, yep.
Very demanding. And they're like huge. They're pretty big. And some of it is big muscles. I'll admit, some of it is huge muscles. They'll have arms like freaking cannons. And then you look at their bellies, and that's like, it's like jello. Why? Because at the end of the day, they'll go home. They'll drink 4 or 5 beers. They're going to eat basically 2.5 meals. And then have some snack food at the end.
Yep. It's carbs.
It's carbs. So it's a little bit of both. Craft beer specialist here says it's the 20-80% rule. 20% exercise, 80% food. It, again, depends on your lifestyle. What kind of job do you have? Sorry?
Yeah, no, the thing is, in general, it's a good thing. Like I said earlier, you cannot outrun a bad diet, right? If no matter what you're doing, you can work out. You can burn 2,000 calories a day. You can burn it.
Mm-hmm.
I assure you, there's been plenty of days that I ate more than 2,000 calories worth of shit. Mm-hmm. Never mind the food I ate.
Yep.
no matter what, you're doing, you like if you're looking for progress. I mean, if you're like a guy like he's an absurd swimmer that's burning like 3,000 calories a day because that's what your job is.
Mhm.
Okay, you can get a little goofy with your food, but in real life with real people doing real jobs, like your diet has to be part of it. And like
Yeah.
the first few weeks of us doing this, I made no progress or negative progress, and I was working out every day. It
And
wasn't
why?
because of what I was eating.
Exactly.
And
That's the
you
thing.
cannot outrun it. The food
Here's
is so important. It's more
here's a
important than the exercise.
here's a fun little fact. Here's a fun little fact. And this is why exercise is important. Back in the day, at my old job, we used to have like a warehouse on top of the store where I worked, where we had like all of the electrical appliances that we sell. I would have to walk 2 stairs to get everything to get every item for every customer. So sometimes, if we had like in 10 minutes, if we had like 8 customers, I'd have to walk those flights of stairs 8 times in 10 minutes on a busy day. Go think about the kind of exercise, the calories that I was burning.
Yep.
When we were remodeling the store and fixing everything, we got a little extra warehouse that was floor level.
Mm-hmm.
My friend and back then my employer, we were friends as well. She said at some point we were looking at each other. We're like, we're in trouble. When we were remodeling, because the store was closed and we're closed for 2 weeks, we were looking at that already, and we were like, we're in trouble. And she knew exactly what it meant because we joked all the time about it doesn't matter what we eat, the amount of exercise that we're getting here is fucking insane. And we already realized we're gonna have to really. Hey, dude, how you doing? I'm assuming this is Dan.
It is Dan.
It's probably Dan, right? How you doing,
Yep.
Dan? But that's exactly what I meant, right? You have to, as soon as you realize that you're going to cut down on your physical exercise a day from your job or your sport or whatever you do, if you realize that that is going to be cut down on your food intake as well. Because at the end of the day, as much as we love food for its flavor, it's the fuel for our body. And if you overfuel, it needs to go somewhere. Now, for a car, it just sort of spills out. There you go. For a human body, it gets stored as fat.
Well, it spills over your belt line.
It spills over you. Yeah, you get the muffin top.
Well, one of the things I brought up last week is that I was gonna go do a few weeks without having any beer.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't I don't I don't think I drink as much as people think I do. I imagine. I don't really drink a whole lot. I I binge like where I'll have like like 6 in a night, but then I
Mm-hmm.
probably won't drink for 5 6 days or something. You know what I mean? Or other than reviews, which Sean and I do on Fridays. Um, but I'm doing none of it. It had less to do with the beer because the beer wasn't my problem. It had more to do with discipline. I can't do it. It's something that it's almost like as a reflex. I can just go have one if I want one. If I had a bad day, sit down and I don't have the it's not the alcohol that makes me feel better. It's just like I like the taste of beer. I like to think about what I'm drinking. It's a for me beer is a social. It's a thing. I send pictures of it when I'm drinking it with my friends, and it's it's a thing.
You
Um,
never said you
but
never sent me pictures of the beers you're drinking. What does that
you
say
are
about you and
you are
me?
full of shit. You're full of shit.
Not just I'm full of shit. Of course I'm full of shit.
But but to me it was not about the beer. It's symbolic of willpower or of just it's just something that I it's symbolic of the effort. So I'm not saying I'm not sober January or whatever. That it was never about that. It's just I realized last weekend when I was watching fights and I was just I had a few beers. I was like, how many fucking calories is this? You know, like there were these adjuncty stouts. I had a bunch of them. This is fucking no good for me. Um, but at the same time, those only ones I had that week. What does that matter? You know. So after we did that review on Sunday, which is last Sunday, Then we did this show. Sunday was the last day I had beer. Although I did lie on camera, I did have some later that night to try to build up a queue with Sean. I called, hey, let's do a few more videos so we have them done while I don't drink for the month. So, but still, Sunday was last Sunday was the last time I've had any beer. But as I told you today, I was making a dessert with beer in it. Now I can't taste the dessert because it has beer in it, so I don't know if it tastes any good. So while it chills, and after I'm finished making it, I'm gonna have to have my wife and my brother try it. So we'll see how it goes. But no beer.
Yeah, but there's also something that is very fulfilling about that, because even though you don't get to taste it yourself, it's very nice to have put an effort into creation, into making, into pleasing other people and having them taste it. And if it's good, if it's tasty, I mean, that's the same kind of kick you can get out of the alcohol part of it, but not even tasting the alcohol. You did something with alcohol, but you're not getting a kick out of the actual alcohol. You're getting a kick out of the people's reaction. There's still that same satisfactory feeling of, that buzz, that high, in a completely different way. Food, like addictions to alcohol, addictions to food, addiction to anything, addiction to exercising. You can get addicted to exercising. You can get addicted to so many things because you get that buzz, you get that high. And there's so many other ways to get that. And to have people taste something. I mean, I love food like you do. And I love to taste my own food. And when I make it, I feel fucking fantastic. But when I see somebody take a bite of my food and they're like, dude, I mean, that's a better feeling than tasting it myself.
Right.
So there's a great feeling when it comes to that.
But there's also useful because now that one beer is no longer in my fridge, so it won't be something that like goes bad in a month.
also that it's like it's a less of a carbon footprint because you're not wasting food and shit like that. And you're doing good all around. You're losing weight. You're eating better. You're not wasting food. You're making other people happy. Come on, man, that's fucking amazing. So I got Dan chiming in saying, I'm going to make an effort. I have to. I talked briefly with Mike about it during a stream. Yeah, Mike mentioned that, but yeah. So
that's good.
Yeah, I think I can say this about Dan. I think he won't be offended because I can say the same thing about you and you won't be offended, because I can say the same thing about me that I used to be, and I noticed that I'm working towards that again. The two of you are, you're big guys. And there's nothing wrong with being a big guy, because people, we have that weird image of, fat is bad, big is bad. It's not about that. It's about your health. It's about what does it do to your joints? What does it do to your heart? Things like that. And I lost a lot of weight back in the day. Because that's I've talked about this during streams before. I actually felt my knees hurting. When I was squatting and I got up, my knees hurt. And I wasn't even 30 at the point. It was like 10 years ago. You and I briefly touched on this. I noticed that I'm getting a little bit more, I'm still not like what I used to be, but I'm noticed that I'm working towards going to that point again.
You're a little more fleshy than you used to be. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, and not in a bad way. I mean, people actually somebody yesterday actually literally said, you look a little healthier than you used to, which I'm like, okay, that's good. But that means that I'm on a track. That means that I'm gaining. And at some point, you need to stop that gain. So our talks over the last couple of weeks have convinced me I really need to put a break on that. I need to get to a point where I stay where I am. I'm not gaining. So today's my cheat day. You saw the picture. I had a wonderful breakfast this morning. I'm going to make myself a very nice little dinner. I'm drinking a couple of nice beers today. And starting tomorrow, I'm going to also drop down on the alcohol, drop down on the snacking, and just make sure I get back in that routine that I used to have of healthy living, where there's 2 days in the week, Saturday, Sunday, where I drink beer, where I have snacks, and that's it.
That's good.
because we do.
I
Yeah.
I think like I had no intentions on this. Honestly, I didn't expect anyone to even watch. I'm glad anyone is. I honestly, it's a good thing.
Mm.
Um, and I know that you got some comments even earlier on, which were encouraging, which is cool. And it's not like we don't have a huge audience, but I mean they're always here. It's great, and they have good comments. It's good. It's good, and it's good for me, especially because I
Mhm.
feel like this is a little bit of a support group, you know. But especially when FLX asked me, and I want to get to his last comment too. But when I talked to him like a week or two ago on the live stream, like I realized like one is I'm I'm not alone, okay, um but when people in your sphere are are making an effort, I think it encourages you as well because
Mhm.
like if I know if my wife decides that she wants to exercise more, she wants to eat better. I know it just I do it the same thing. Like when people around you are making the effort, it's more encouraging. It feels more attainable for you to, you know what I mean? It because you're seeing it happen in real time.
It does, because
So
when back in the day when I started losing weight, it was me and my then girlfriend. We both wanted to lose weight, and we kept each other in check. We supported each other. We motivated each other. Like, should you really be doing that? She would look at me. Do you want to have that, or should you be doing that? And I was like, oh, I really want that beer. Should you be having that beer, Thomas? Because you said you wanted to lose some weight. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. You're right. You're right. Thank you for keeping me in check, and thank you for supporting me. And if I said, you know what, I'm going to indulge tonight, she would also say, that's your choice. That's your decision.
yep.
If you want to, and the other way around as well. I would comment on her going like, do you really want to do that because you wanted to lose weight? If she says, I feel good about it, hey, your choice. But you can keep each other in check, and that's a big thing.
I'll get to Dan's comment here.
I just saw it. Yeah, I just noticed
Yep.
it.
So how
I'm
do you
going to let
feel
you
about?
answer first.
I'll answer first, and it's very very easy for me. I'm lactose intolerant, so
Well, there you
I don't
go.
have I don't have a lot of dairy. I do love dairy though. So like my favorite thing in the world is fucking cheese, bar none. My favorite things, cheese, then my wife. I fucking love cheese. So
Chan.
no, listen,
Mike said a nasty thing.
Chan loves cheese and Bruce more than me. That's fair. Um,
Okay, well, I'll take, especially
but
Bruce. I'll
yeah,
especially take that one.
but no, I'm obviously I'm kidding. But I love cheese. I love it. But I can only have small amounts now. So it's easy for me to just be like, well, um, but the problem is I love milk. I very, 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 very seldom have it. But I love milk. I love cheese and stuff. I just if I have like a hard cheese, like it's fine. It doesn't bother me. But like if I'm
Mhm.
having like soft cheeses like brie and stuff, it makes for a pretty interesting time a few hours later. So it's not a hard thing. But having said that, yeah, dairy is high in calories. It's high in fats.
Well, yes and no.
But
That's where I would like to chime in.
it's generally low in carb.
Well, that's where I would
So
like to chime in.
go
So
ahead.
I don't know if you guys have this option in the US, but here in the Netherlands, here in Europe, we have access to many, many types of like low fat, almost no fat yogurts. So if you wanted to have like a very healthy breakfast, you could add like about 100, 125 grams of that very lean yogurt, which also has a nice little sour tang to it. You can
Yep.
add that to like maybe a banana, add a little bit of granola to it, and you have two types of granola. You have like the oversweetened breakfast cereal granola. We also have like real granola, which is the real granola is basically just some grains and maybe a few nuts. And if you use that in the right portions, say about 30 to 40 grams, with a little bit of runny honey, just like a teaspoon, as a natural, because there's another thing as well, adding sugars to your diet. You can have sugar, like the granulated sugar, which is processed shit, or you can just add like a little bit of a natural sweetener, like a little bit of honey to your tea. Are they sugars? Yes, but they're different kinds of sugars, and your body processes them differently, and it actually absorbs them as an energy instead of like different kinds of fats. So you can have a breakfast. I'm going to get to the breakfast part that Cornet just mentioned. And that's all, like, there's hardly any fats or carbs in that type of yogurt. You just need to find it. Because most of the time when people think about yogurt, they think about the Greek style. That fat, creamy, thick Greek style yogurt that is like literally 10% fat. And is it delicious every now and then as a dessert with some walnuts and honey, stuff like that? It's delicious, but it's also a lot of fat carbs. It depends on what you want to buy. And I don't know if you have that option.
Yeah, here we can get like Fage, which is a Greek yogurt. We can get it here, and we can get zero fat Fage here, and it's still pretty thick and creamy. It's great stuff.
Well, there you go. There you go. You need to look at the right examples. And I always got that lean yogurt. And getting back to the yogurt, so Cornet was asking about breakfast. Speaking of breakfast, getting back to the dairy. I want to get back to the dairy very quickly. I'm going to get to the thing. So, do you know soft goat's cheese?
Of course.
Yeah, that's soft goat's cheese. So what we have here, you can actually buy them in like sort of rolls that are already pre-cut into the little discs. Yep. What I'll often do is I'll make a vegetarian meal. It's not vegan, it's vegetarian, saying, where I will stir fry a little bit of onion and garlic, add some tomato puree, add some spices, whatever I like. Almost like make it like a curry paste, a hot curry paste. I'll add some aubergine or eggplant to it. Stir fry that for a little bit. Then I'll add, you have these sort of like 1-person servings of pre-cooked legumes, like chickpeas or garbanzo beans. That's like the right amount, healthy amount of a protein for one person. I'll add that, drained and rinsed and whatever. Add a little bit of water, maybe a little stock cube. I'll have that simmer for like 30 minutes. You'll have a vegetarian, at that point, a vegan, actually, stew of chickpeas and vegetables and whatever. And I'll add, right before I serve it, I'll crumble in one of those small discs, like very tiny, of that soft goat's cheese, which has some natural, healthy fats, but not a lot of them. It will give a little bit of tang to the meal. And there you have a little bit of dairy in a healthy amount to your meal. And it creams up the sauce, makes it very nice and silky and smooth. And you'll add a little bit of dairy to your diet. So that's a good way of adding a little bit of a healthy fat to your diet.
The other thing for me, all those things are true. I just thought about it as because, like, when I'm sitting here on my couch, I do think, like, because my pantry's right there. I can see it right there. I can see it's closed, but I know there's food in there. I know. And it's weird. Like, it's weird how food is such an addiction, because I just think like if I'm busy all day, if I'm doing things, if I'm out and about, and I'm getting things done, if I'm working, like, I don't think about those things. It's almost like sitting down and being sedentary. Almost like it just, to me, it compounds problems, because when I'm sitting here, even like I said last night, I told you before we started, I ate really well throughout the week, and very little snacking. But then last night I'm sitting there watching fights, and if anyone doesn't know, Saturdays for me is fight night. I watch either mixed martial arts or boxing every Saturday, and period. And but I was sitting around, and I almost just couldn't control myself. I went and got a small bag, a very, very little bag, like an ounce, maybe less, of potato chips, and I ate them, and they were delicious. It was
the fun thing is, sorry, yeah.
It was the last thing I ate last night,
But that's the fun thing. If you have, so you deprived yourself of snacks for a while, that's going to happen because you want to diet. You want to get back into snacking, which is also okay, because it's not like you can't snack forever. You just really sort of have to cut it down, like basically abolish it out of your life for maybe a month or so while you're doing all the exercising. Get into a point where it's, and then every now and then a small snack is okay. But if you buy those small individual person sizes snacks, like the little potato chips or whatever, or crisps or whatever you want to call them, If you open the bag and they're empty, that's it. It was one single size portion, and that's it, and you're done. But if you open up the big bag and you're like, I'm going to take a few out of them, and you finish that handful, there's that bag, and you're like, yeah, but you know what? One more.
The big bag, that's the personal size bag, Thomas. I don't know what you're talking about.
That is the personal. I know what you mean. No, but that's the thing, though. Having snacks is okay, but you need to portion it out, and that's actually back when I was doing the hard dieting. That's what I would do. I would take a kitchen scale. I would already look up the snacks that would be sort of the healthier option, and I would weigh the portion. Even if it was a big bag, and that's the volition again. The motivation versus volition. That was the volition again, where I would say, I've had my 25 grams. That's it. I'm not gonna have any more. And that's the hard part, because the bag is open.
Yeah. And the other part is, and you'll never understand this because you don't get Cheez-Its in your country, but Cheez-Its are these little orange crackers, and I say crackers specifically because they're made of crack, I think, and I love them. They're these little orange Cheez-Its. They're amazing.
You show pictures. I think if I were to ever try one, I would probably end up. I think after a while, it will probably be cheaper to actually start doing crack, because I would probably spend so much money eating the crackers. Hey, before I answer this question, do you want to talk us to your breakfast routine generally?
Most days I don't have much breakfast.
Okay.
On weekends I generally do. If I do, it's scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs are my favorite things. Hands down, like scrambled eggs on toast with a little bit of green onion, probably my favorite thing in the world.
And a good actually a healthy option, because again, you're talking about healthy fats, you're talking about your proteins, egg whites, and shit like that. So that's a good thing. I like that one.
Love it.
Yeah. So for me, for people who follow me on social media, who saw my story on Instagram or my Facebook post today, that was the cheatest of all cheat breakfasts ever. But that was 200 grams of a petit tender, or chuck tender, as the Americans would call it, or Dutch people would call it diamanthaas, beef, like a steak, on a Italian-style roll with some caramelized onions, some scrambled eggs, a little bit of cheddar. But that was the cheatest of all cheat. And that was actually a very lean cut of beef. There you go. On average, during the week, my breakfast will usually be 2 slices of bread with a little bit of something that is called an apple syrup. Appelstroop, we call it. Think of what would be a... Do you know how British cooking has that sort of thick sort of syrup thing that you can basically... It's not even pourable. You need to use I think they call it
marmalade?
No, it's the... Oh man, I need to look this up. I'm gonna Google appelstroop Engels. See what you guys would call it. Okay, so actually, there's apparently apple syrup. There's a Dutch version that maybe because a German version. Maybe this would ring a bell. Appelstroop.
It sounds the same to me.
Okay, so anyway, what it is basically you take apples, you boil them down until they get to such a consistency that they're basically a thick black mass.
Oh, almost like Marmite looking stuff?
Yeah, but very sweet. But because it's all natural sugars, and it's very high in iron. So that's what I don't know what a spanner is either. You saw it pop up. I saw your reaction the same way when I was like, what? I want a spanner? You have to explain that one to me, James. But anyway, so that's what I would usually do, and probably add a few slices of banana, because banana also has it's some of your...
My favorite. I love banana.
Yeah, bananas, man. They're the best.
It's my
so
favorite
that's
fruit,
what,
yeah.
Or I'll have what I said, the yogurt and the granola with a little bit of honey and a little bit of a banana and have mix that up, have that. And the thing that I sometimes do that some people see on social media every now and then is like the Italian roll with like boiled egg or a fried egg and cheese and ham. But that's something I do once a week. That's my Sunday morning. Um, I'll admit sometimes my hangover cure because Saturday evenings is usually when I usually hang out on live streams with people, and there's going to be a few beers. And I'm not actually hungover. I don't actually have a hangover, but it's that point where your body says, if I don't have some carbs and thank you, Renee. Treacle. It's treacle made from apples. You know what treacle is?
No.
Fucking American.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna look it up right now. Treacle. Treacle to me sounds like fecal, and that's kind of unsettling.
Fecal matter.
Thick, sticky, dark syrup made from partly refined sugar and molasses. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what this is. This is a British thing.
It's a European thing. You know, back when the British were actually part of Europe.
Wow, like last year.
No, but that's basically.
No, I'm sure this is something we can get here, but this isn't like a common thing here.
Joe likes to go for a high protein breakfast. You know, proteins. People underestimate proteins. They're so important.
Yeah, I do think that that's a common thing, especially for non. It was a common thing for a lot of Americans, and still kind of is. Like a lot of it's eggs, sausage, bacon, those types of things. I don't, beans. Especially if you're doing sort of a British style breakfast, I think high protein breakfast is still a pretty common thing and not a bad way to start your day.
Yeah, but a lot of those breakfasts also have like a lot of carbs in them.
Well, if you have eggs and you have sausage and you have bacon and you have beans, not that much. Once you start adding toast and potatoes, yeah.
Yeah, but there you go. That's what most people do. They're going to add in like God knows. So we got Enrico chiming in. Fried eggs, blood sausage, some baked onions, mushrooms. That's usually my breakfast. Enrico, that is like the best thing. Blood pudding, like black pudding, blood sausage. Oh, that stuff is delicious. I know exactly what it is. It's literally what it says. I loved it.
I know. I don't like black sausage or blood sausages. It is horrific to me.
So, we are at nearly 50 minutes. We try to keep these things at like an hour, and this is the point where we start wrapping up usually and go like,
yep.
Is there anything that you want to talk about? Is there anything you have in terms of goals? What do you want to work on for the next week? And what can we/I?
Well, one thing I want to if Alex is still here, I want to talk to him after this is over. That's off topic, I guess, but if he's here, that's quick. Otherwise, I think for the most part, I'm going to kind of see what happens by doing what I did this week. Again, I don't think I'm going to get the same progress. I know last year, especially when I was just doing a lot of it's similar things. Like there were some weeks where it was like 5 pounds, some weeks was 1, some weeks was 3. It is it kind of comes and goes. So I don't expect always to have the same amount of progress, but I'm going to try to do the same thing because like when I got on the scale this morning, you feel good. It feels like wow, like you did something. Like the hard work is paying off, and where I might have made myself a kind of a bonkers Sunday breakfast. I didn't, instead I took my dog for a walk, and I have to do some work this afternoon. I'll be going into work, but I have to do some shopping. I'm going to do a few things, but I didn't start off with a good Sunday breakfast. I did something a little more healthy and
awesome,
and not in a way that I felt like I was cheating myself either. Like I felt like I was like, oh wow, like this is working. You can
have very delicious meals that are incredibly healthy and like breakfast or whatever. Sam's chiming in. G'day, bros. G'day, mate. Because that's a convict, by the way. Sam's a convict. He's Australian, so that automatically makes him a convict. We always try to say that as soon as he jumps in.
Or his relatives are, at least.
Yeah, I don't know what Sam does on a day-to-day basis. That's the thing that is the one thing that I wanted to comment on before we end this. goals and maintaining it. So here's the thing:
Hey, buddy.
yeah, he stopped snoring. I already noticed he was probably waking up. Here's the thing: so you're doing everything that you want to do. You're doing all the exercises that you wanted to do. You've been eating perfectly. You've lost 5 pounds, right? And then you do everything for another week.
Yep.
And you only lose 1 pound.
Yep.
And here's the thing: a lot of people could get frustrated. They're going to go like, well, whatever I'm doing, it doesn't make any sense anymore. I might as well just quit. Here's the thing: the body is a mysterious piece of machinery. And there are so many external influences and so many little things that can have so many influences on whether or not you're losing weight or gaining muscle mass or whatever you're doing, or the way you're burning calories. For example, stress burns calories. You could have let's say you have a great relaxed week and you're doing all of your exercising and all of your dieting, but you have the most relaxed week ever. Could be that your body doesn't burn so many calories because you've been more relaxed.
But stress can also, because the body's a weird thing, stress can also cause you to hold on to energies and hold on to carbs and hold on to other things. So it's a weird thing.
The point being, if you know here, logically speaking, if all of your reason is telling you, I did everything that I could, I didn't do anything different, I didn't snack, I didn't drink the beers, I didn't do anything wrong. Well, wrong between brackets, wrong in the lifestyle that you've chosen, and you've only lost 1 pound, you're still on the right track. Because that can sometimes happen. Sometimes you don't have the gains that you want, but it doesn't mean you're failing. It just means that, there were some factors that you didn't take into account.
There's also something too when you start to lose a lot of weight, your body can sometimes go into like almost panic mode and to try to hold on to the carbs. Like your body wants to be fat. I'm being very serious.
That's true.
It wants the energy. It just does.
That's true.
So I know, I know inherently all these things. Like I understand diet. I understand exercise. I understand all these things. My issue is not knowledge. My issue is, I talk about like volition and effort and all those things. And I do know that like if I got on the scale next week and all the things I did, everything this week, and I went and I saw the same weight I saw this morning, I would be not crushed, but I would not feel good about I would immediately think, what was this fucking effort for? Exactly. It's not easy. These things are hard.
Why am I? That's the first thing. Why am I doing this? Why the fuck am I even making all of this effort if it isn't? It is still doing a thing, because here's the thing. Here's the shitty thing. You've been feeling great all week. Because the scale is both your friend and your enemy.
Yep.
You have been feeling great all week because you didn't eat unhealthy. You did all of the exercises that you want. All you wanted is the proof, and you didn't get the proof you want. But you were feeling great up until that moment. So sometimes standing on that scale, and that's why that scale can sometimes be a son of a bitch.
Yep.
I actually stopped using the scale. You know what I use as a measurement? My belt.
Yeah, that's something. Yep. Because
my belt.
Because muscle weighs more than fat. So like those things. Yep, for sure.
And as soon as I noticed that I took the belt on, and the belt is still the same size. So, for example, drinking, they call it a beer gut for a reason. Drinking too much beer expands your gut a little bit more than it does the rest.
Yep.
That's where that gets stored. So, if I put on my belt and the belt still fits, but I'm like, hey, is it me, or is that maybe a pinch or two extra that I'm feeling right here? That makes that for me is the measurement that makes me think like, maybe I wanna cut down on some things. But that's for every person to decide for themselves. Yep. What works for you. Just make sure, and that's the point, if you stand on the scale and you didn't lose as much as you wanted, that doesn't mean you're failing.
Nope. And one thing I did notice is that, I still have my double chin here. Mm. I do notice, like, even just like my face looks narrower even on camera.
It does.
And and it's not because of weight loss either. It's because like certain things you eat cause puffiness and inflammation and stuff like that. And so I know just this is making. I know that my eating is better. So
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's like the little tiny things, because my belly's still pretty big. Obviously, it's not. I don't lose a whole lot of weight.
The jowls and the skin and the double chin is also an age thing, right? At some point, your skin, you can be thin as fuck and still have a double chin because your skin just starts to sag because of age.
True.
So, like you said, this is more important than this. If you feel like this got thinner, you're on the right track, dude.
Right. But I just knew that a lot of things I'm eating, it causes inflammation, it's puffiness and all that stuff. So this isn't because of weight loss. It's just about better choices in general. So
maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's the thing to end this live stream on. By the way, we got Craig chiming in saying, "How you doing, guys? Good afternoon, evening. Good afternoon, buddy." Maybe we should end it on this. And this is the biggest thing. Your body. I mean, you are nearing your 40s. I'm nearing my 40s. I'm a little bit closer to my 40s than you are.
A little bit.
A little bit, but not by much.
Not significantly, yeah.
Not significantly. So we're basically the same age. And our bodies are just going to act differently. Parts of our bodies are going to be a bit more saggy. Things like, the double chin. You're going to get a little bit of the gut thing going on because your body is just going to change. And I mean, we're going to fight against it as much as we can.
Yeah.
But unless we are Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, and Ben Affleck, and I don't know, whoever's training, and what's his face, Henry Cavill, unless we are getting paid insane amounts of money to spend 8 hours a day practicing and exercising and having the best cooks making the most healthy meals for us and all of the coaches supporting us, we're not going to look like that. We're not. And we're going to have to accept that. We're going to have to accept the fact that we will not be that ripped. We're not going to have that jawline. We're not going to have those bodies. But what we're going to have, if we keep that regimen up that we're trying to, we're going to have good health. We're going to have a few extra more years with the people that we love. We'll have the ability to enjoy those years more because we are more physically fit. We are more emotionally and mentally aware because we're not dragging. This is also a fun thing. We're not dragging our systems down by excess fats, alcohol, and salts. That influences the brain as well, and we're just going to have a better, healthier, more enjoyable life.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
All right, awesome.
How are you feeling, man?
I'm good. I feel really good today. Yeah.
Okay.
Feels good. And my dog's really happy. That makes me happy too.
That's also a good thing. Bruce is happy. We're happy. Next week, a little over 40 here. Stopped eating most sources of carbs and sugars a few years ago, except beer. Eat mostly fatty meat and protein now. Works great for me. There you go.
Everybody's different. Everybody is different, and there are people that those are things. Listen, whatever works for you. I'm for everybody. I'm for everybody being successful.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I hope everyone does better than me. I don't have any jealousy toward other people's success. I just hope everyone's successful.
That's the best part. Even if you're doing awesome for yourself, always hope that other people are doing better than you.
Well, I hope everyone's doing as best as they can, whether they're better than me or not. I hope everyone's doing the best they can. And,
so Dan, sorry, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I know you were saying something.
No, so I said I know people that the whole I don't know if he's kind of doing sort of mostly doing anything you do in the low carb is going to benefit you to some degree. You gotta find out what works for your body. Every body's just a little bit different.
Right. I kept eating carbs and I lost a lot of weight. My sister dropped carbs, but is eating more fat. And I dropped a lot of fats. My sister dropped carbs but still kept on fats. Lost weight as well.
Yep.
There you go. It just depends on. There you go. Dan, if you want to join that offline thing that Mike said, you can find the studio. So just jump on in. That's going to be great. For those who are watching, and of course from Mike, mostly next week, I may or may not have a birthday party. It depends on a few situations. So we're either going to have to skip a Sunday or we're going to have to do one on a later time than usual. So just guys, keep an eye on. There you go. That's it. Good evening, everybody. So see you guys maybe next week, maybe some other week. We'll see, but we'll definitely be back. Everybody enjoy your evening, enjoy your afternoon if you're in the States. Mike, it was fun.
Absolutely. Always. See you next week.
See you next week, dude. Cheers.